The door is closed. There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 peers have walked here. Sitting at a desk, Lieutenant Kitsuragi fiddles with a pen, then writes something on the paper in front of him. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be here discussing the footprints.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno does...
Right, two. The file cabinet stands steady as the drawer slides. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you. The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move. Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revashole. 4952, and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993. Calling. Calling. Still calling.
Video Revashole, 24-hour video rental. You rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lammy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
Video Revashol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10 millimeter film for home use. This is Lamy. Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here. No. Maybe you call to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental period? Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years, but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November 46. Whoa, not a fun film, that one. It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia. No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Maine.
On the corner of Voyager and Maine, a large neon sign hangs on the side of a building. Video Revashol, 24 hours. It's raining and there is almost no traffic on the streets. A woman's footprints in the mud lead away from the front door. Tiny heels tiptoeing down the road. Beautiful steps, light-footed with a lifetime ahead of them. You look up and the air seems to grow darker. The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone. The payphone hangs mutely on the wall. This is the night. This is the night. The chair is not as austere. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs, though. The inside of the booth is immaculate. The drawers are empty, save for old times. You take the painkillers. They are yours now. You stand and exit the booth. The container door appears unmoved by your attempt at flattery. The door does not respond to your advances. Is it possible that it seems somehow more closed than before? Who understands anything you do? You attempt to turn the handle.
Hey, mister, I'm not gonna bother you with a long greeting, just like... Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more. I almost forgot about the borscht. Oh, yes, I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags. Oh, the whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad. Oh, sure, mister. Sure. You do that, yes?
He didn't actually understand what you meant, and now he's just nodding along.
Oh, that one. That should...
Mr. Dubois, a pleasure as always. You don't have to sit down this time, since you've already sat on that chair. I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you? You're right, Harry. You only had to unlock the door, which you did, so we're all good here. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good. By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps. Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries. A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire?
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
I'm talking beasts, hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Sadamoritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry.
Those Senorita Pineapple people are scary motherfuckers, decimating your state if you don't give them your pineapples.
Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revashole into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant. Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container. Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types. One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees. Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers. We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do...
An entire neighborhood of killers.
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood. Making sure they're like you. Idealistic people who want to make sure that bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow. One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land." He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation. Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them. How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do. Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates. You said it, Harry. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes. Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal. Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democrat. Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative. Harry, they're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
Separate one from the herd.
Oh, that would definitely be Fat Angus. His feet smell from a city block away, and he's always having noisy stomach troubles. Horrible, revolting guy. You would die, Harry. You would die, and in the process start a bloody and completely unnecessary war between the Debardairs Union, Angus, his ever-growling stomach, and his smelly feet are all part of the Union. You have as much right to arrest him as actually less, because it's his home and his backyard. You are a guest here, Harry. Please remember that. Oh, Harry. This is getting real grim, and there's no need for that. We are friends. But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk. Also, Harry, here's 5 real. I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real. Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else? Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you. Yet. Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just...
He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta. I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates.
Roller skating, not drugs, Harry. You like this.
There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry. They are just gonna have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie. On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
Water drips from the eaves. A woman looks at her freshly tarred skiff. There's a pair of cavalry boots under the fish in the box, and the wind howls like a vicious spirit. You're already pretty deep into this. What's a little more? No one can see you here in Martinez.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you. Here. You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the waterlock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist. Most certainly, Harry. Nothing. By all means, Harry. What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any Johnny Fat Guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this? You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what?
And gets over it in 2 seconds. Seems like it didn't really hurt him.
I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me. So do what you want, and let's change the subject. I don't know what that means, Harry. Shady brew? There are so many moving parts. You know what? Don't even tell me. Whatever it is, do it. Surprise me. Just one thing. If you can, make it even shadier. Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy. It's perfectly okay. Even if you've told her everything we've talked about, it's absolutely fine. What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go. He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left. Harry! I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is.
It's hard to say if he really lost his temper, or if this is another one of his tricks. This man almost never angers visibly.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over. Yes, yes. Low balling, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
It's a fortress. He knows she can't get in here. He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everard doesn't mind.
This is weird. Not nice weird, but okay.
See you soon, Deba.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope. A 12 to 40 month construction period and the zoning plan in the addendum. The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall. Take the legal documents out of the envelope. But there is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door. Once the construction starts, it'll probably take a few months, a year maybe, for even the most stubborn occupants to get tired of living like this. After that, they'll sell their property for cheap and move out. Well, you could trick Everard. Get some random people to sign the document. By the time the union boss finds out, your business here will be already concluded. Rusting control panel. Crane does not return to its original position. No screech of metal.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Los Ardis? They're an independent militant group. A bit too high. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really, they're just like you.
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod. acknowledging your presence. The mention of mañana gets his attention. He smiles and delivers a whole slew of unfamiliar words. The man says a couple of sentences in that strange language of his, and then seems to wait for you to speak.
Boss need more vodka?
Of course, vodka. Now that makes a very, very special borscht. In turning it up seems like a dangerous idea, honestly. The place is a powder keg. He smiles, nodding vigorously, then pours half a bottle of vodka into the pot. With a whistle, he stirs the brew. He smiles and nods enthusiastically, and, chattering away in his language, ladles some brew into a small thermal cup. Then, you see ahead.
Can I help you? Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this a shaker? Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie? Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why? That's right, I'm the cafeteria manager.
What you want is a goddamn drink. How is that so hard to understand?
Like what?
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again. I've got nothing to say to you.
Looks like the circus left town, but the clowns are still here. Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Well, snitches get stitches, and you don't have any stitches. The old man sent word you'd be around. That's the only reason I'm being so forthcoming with you. Don't wear it out.
There are several foot sitting at a desk.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
Several maps. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda.
I'm sorry, they're quite valuable, though they might not look it. Yes, yes. Are you interested or not?
This large ozone. In the northeast, a dust mite stand radiating outwards from you. The ocean connections you have little. Perhaps they are gods. The north coast to the east, Huron. It's so No, no. This is so. Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
All around you, rain keeps falling down. On the wooden boards she's standing on, and on the water around you.
Very rugged. Good choice. Now, I suspect you had questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day. Am I right? Word has traveled, yes, but nothing of real substance has surfaced yet, I gather. Wild Pines has eyes on the intersection, but not ears. This reality. Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy now that I think of it. But then I'm no doctor. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover, pay it no heed. Aren't we all? Martinez is a district of Revashole. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins, a term. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revashole. And the bay feeds into... Yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Elysium. Caillou, as you already know. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her.
Revashole? Revashole is what you call a city. The great kind. History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed. In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts. Ideological conflicts. The stuff of men. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Elysium Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about...
A sparkle of lights on the horizon, like evening star.
22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are INSIACOM. Coalition government, Elysium Mission Command.
Silence. The water, the light. There is no recognition. Only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it.
We are where we are. I have no truer answer to give, unfortunately.
This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown. These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. 1,000th of a second too late. For the big time.
The smile of a predator. No doubt what she's got in mind.
All men are predators, dear. Nothing much to be done about that. It's all a matter of where the revolution. It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Those would be the communists. Generally speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed. Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people. Yes, the Insulindian deluge, they call it. Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad. About head shooting. The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything. Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective, or the remaining gentry, the beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well. They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember? To foreign intervention, the coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights. The liberals took everything that wasn't nailed to the ground. The coalition took the ground. The ocean, the laws, and the people. The coalition of nations, Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-le-Clay, the armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do. The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head. At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revashol now, the coalition government.
The rulers of Revashol, and also the...
This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist. A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, I mean. The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved. It wasn't a who, but a what? A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Marzolf came along and overthrew the government. It made people overthrow their governments. Of course not. It was a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic owned from Revashol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in 08, and the coalition crushed the Revashol commune 2 years later. It was the end. Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control. A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the coalition of nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The Zone of Control is the third incarnation of Revashol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune, modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-easlary communication, telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revashol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade. 43 years. Hard to fathom, I know. The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was the 30s. Things settled down in the 30s. Revashol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere. No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing. The 40s dispelled it like a cold splash, an Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby. Good question. What would you?
Your jaw clenches. Give the lady a taste of your wisdom. A cold creeps up your spine.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with the technology 50 years ago?
The wind stops, and for a moment, there's silence. A dog barks. A gunshot echoes off the walls of some distant building.
It's all yours. A poor remedy for prion disease. That was the attitude of most of the more moderate Indo tribes, particularly those Kupri, Resplendent, both gone now. Those that survived mended their ways. Good question.
Your jaw clenches. Give the lady.
And I asked you, past less detective of the citizens' militia, what?
Here's some wisdom, lady. Say the death thing.
And you would have died, most likely. Not far from here. Maybe even right here, during the beachhead, defending the coast the day the coalition took the city.
The cold runs down your spine. She gestures toward the waters. The wind stops. There is a dog bark.
No, almost certainly. The commune would have forced you. Such was the fate of... They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may... Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know? It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get your... Well, it's either bariatric surgery, or long-term alcohol use?
She nods slowly. What this boils down to is, this reality thing is stupid. Blow this joint, grab a bottle, and drain that shit right down your throat. She stares at you, head tilted to the side, with a slightly concerned look on her face. She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth. It's sharp.
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal. From the revolution. It's, not the moderate kind. Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to financier pirates. No sane person identifies as ultra-liberal anymore. Not in
her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride.
A devil, who being of great charm and guile, sneaketh into the homes of the godly.
Beneath her waterproof raincoat and silk shirt is a body imbibed in numb 12 perfume. You are suddenly and intimately aware of it.
I'm afraid you'll find that every woman is a devil woman, detective. There are only aesthetic differences. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed. With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery.
While a gentle wind sweeps the streets in the rebuilt east, light drizzle washing it clean, lights go up and motor carriages circulate the tracks.
I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the Coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists suck.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isla down rather than let them have it. Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing. Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here. Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother. And a wife. Now, shall we return to reality? A bird? A sphenicid? A flightless bird of the polar regions? Ah! This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislaine, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two. A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old. This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta, That was before the war, of course. Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the...
Wonderful. The girl in the old lady rags. Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infra... Yes, you and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rag. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture. Young people who dye their hair funny colors and wear old people's clothes are stupid, and their little rebellion is self-defeating. All right. What next?
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something close. This isn't about you. It's about reality. A strange coldness comes over you as you look at the world. The doubt is fully formed in your head. The alien feeling persists. You just can't word the question yet. You have to...
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? More lessons in basic... Glad to have been of assistance.
This door is made of metal and appears to be... No one answers. Looks like he isn't home. You should come back tomorrow evening, after 21. This door is made of... No one. Looks like he is... No one. Looks like he is...
Trying to sneak up on me?
Just an ordinary wall. Nothing to see here. Yeah. Why? You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. Your feet ache. The twiddling barely keeps your hands warm against the frigid wind blowing from the coast. After a while, you've had enough. The 15th Indo tribe. Because there was. The 15th Indo tribe was comprised of 8 kids from Forberg and North Jamrock, running from wild dogs in the valley, hiding scents under rocks, and stealing clothes off clotheslines, and sometimes even the copper wiring of phone lines. You may have been one of them. This must be a childhood memory. The 15th Indo tribe was your Indo tribe, set to rule in Cylinder. The rest of the kids are dead now. Car accidents and drug overdoses. Only you remain.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
If you don't mind, please put the flashlight away. Some of us have photonic sensitivities. I do appreciate it. Hello, hello. Let me know if I can help you with anything. Sure, let me have a look. I'm not purchasing any more clothing. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time.
A crumpled the sign billboard has fallen on the waterlock, keeping it open.
Evening, officer.
A rusting this panel usually you pull the lever all the way up until the metal clicks. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. A cold gust of wind blowing in. The man watches you in silence, very slowly cutting off another slice of his salami and putting it. A spring brings the lever back to its original position. You still need to close the waterlock to get across the canal, some other way. Wasn't there a sign over there saying functionality will be restored on Wednesday morning?
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind? I don't want to talk about that. Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. And I don't know where she is. Thank God I don't know. People here call her the Lady Driver. She kept her name a secret. From me too. Now I see why. A friend? An acquaintance? I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. She's someone I don't want to rat out to the law, okay? A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a cool way. Blue and violet. Died. It was violet when she got here. Blue before she went.
Then she may have dyed it again.
I didn't, man. I told you I was hoping it's not her. That she wouldn't be mixed up in it. Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't be that bad. She's not a bad person, I know that much. That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it. I can't have that on my conscience. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over. And you're looking for a way out. Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked. And she told me, too, that she's had a violent life. But I wasn't afraid of her. More like for her. Well, it looks like it did now. But we didn't talk about that. We talked about life, you know? She talked about her mind. The way it worked. The trouble it was giving her.
The pain it was causing her.
Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who couldn't stand her, or were afraid of her. They'd be more than happy to rat her out.
He's right. There are other options. Push Tommy and it will break his heart and his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals. Now is not the time to focus on feelings. You need it's right here. The answer is right here. You just need to ask him. Come on, do it.
You're not gonna put a bullet in your head if you blow it, are you? 'Cause she's on the edge, man.
I wouldn't be so sure, Tommy.
Thank you, friend. Wow, this makes me feel like I should pick up smoking again. Would help with my rhymes, too.
Looking for something odd? Come to tell me to fuck off again? I don't know what you're talking about.
The man bites his lip.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know. A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She looks up from...
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay? A warehouse.
She scrunches up her face into...
Fine.
The tear machines, your bottles clunk. Do you know what you should do with that money, kiddo? A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays, and blister packs. To the left of... The door is closed. Still, you should punch a fucking hole in it. The murmur in your... The bed is still cold from the broken window, and not too inviting, but it's... The bed is still cold from the wind blowing in from the broken window. The mattress creaks as you close...
Here we are again, my broken bud. The waves are coming, carrying you away. But you can't go. No, you have to stay. You're not cooperating. It's your disgusting body. Even through your sleep you feel a vague discomfort suffusing it. Your belly and your sides are unpleasantly tense.
And there's a lot of it, ever present in your organs. It's like every one of them has their own nasty song to sing.
There's no dignity here. Only reflections of your body mass. Flashes of the day. You keep coming back to yourself in the mirror. You're just stuck here. In the half-world. Could try looking at other people. Really looking. But why would you want to start doing that? Sure you do.
People are beautiful, statuesque, parodies and tragedies of themselves. A great democracy of creatures.
What do you think you're doing right now? Coming to some greater awareness? Look at all these lights, blinking in and out of existence. Thoughts!
Let it.
But it never seems to let you go, does it? Time to rise and wipe that shining sweat off as best you can.
The window stands. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. The door is closed. This door, as you hold...
Yes? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here, and now it's come to its natural conclusion. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary.
Yes. I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
A tremble comes over you. Another after effect of ethanol poisoning, perhaps. Feels like leaves do when they rustle in the breeze, somewhere far away, below the turbine. The 41st and the 57th. The lieutenant was right. It's not about who gets what's north. It's about who doesn't.
A good joke. It's good we set this thing aside. Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If not, we should move. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Because you're the best qualified? No, that doesn't seem right. If you're so well qualified, why can't you remember why you were sent?
Can I help you? Got the 20 real? Then why are you...
Oh, hello, dear. There.
The man ponders his cooking eat. He looks up, shrugging.
You look like shit. And I don't mean that as a metaphor. Judith, back me up here.
You do look... It looks like it's been...
No, what do you want?
Okay, so this guy is cool. He stands there like a statue, an angry statue, and he does not like you.
I'm not getting involved.
It's not my style, he thinks, glancing at the man in sunglasses and the woman beside him. Oh boy, they're mad at him. No wonder. He just doesn't recognize them. There's something that binds you to him. Some kind of an outfit, maybe. A uniform. Yes, nurses. Why not?
Why, yes. Yes, I am a male nurse. How could you tell? No, not really. Not really at all. Now please go sort this hanging out, alright? About what? You don't look like a cop. You know what you look like. I don't know. A sad stack of shit next to someone far more proficient.
Who does this asshole think he is? A cop?
No. Cause it's not my job. Why don't you go and fucking do yours and solve this damn hanging? Actually, I don't want to hear you say...
Come on, Jean.
Okay, say things. I want to hear...
Suddenly, out of nowhere, case-related things start popping up in...
So, do you know who hanged him? I don't know. Why are...
You know what? It must be because he's buff. He looks like he works out, like he's got the devil on his...
Oh my god, there's more.
You want something more? What is it? Watch out for...
That voice, so very familiar. Did you hear it when calling to your station and reporting your badge missing?
Oh, really? I wonder where. That's the where you remember me from? Okay then. It's probably a coincidence.
The woman in an RCM patrol officer's uniform winces as she notices you.
I would really prefer not to talk to you right now. Yes, I am. I know.
Here's the real deal.
I'm definitely not the cavalry. I don't know. I mean, why would I want to talk to you? No, you haven't wronged me. It's okay. Okay, fine. Let's talk. What did you want? What precinct?
Am I from? God, he doesn't know.
Fucking deranged lunatic.
Of course I'm with him. Why do you ask?
And you look like you don't bathe, on principle.
Please, let's not turn this into another exchange, okay? I don't know.
Don't say anything, Judith.
I'm just looking out for...
No one. I'm just a man with sunglasses. And you are?
Yes. A policewoman who just wants to do her job. That's all.
Something about the man with sunglasses and you, the energy between you two is making her uncomfortable.
I've got nothing to say to you. Why?
Kunos, like Kunos.
There are several footprints in the mud, left by work boots. Anywhere from 6 to 12 pairs have walked here. 8 pairs of boots have shuffled back and forth in the mud. Where else have we seen a gang of men in work boots? That's right, the hardy boys in the mess hall. 1. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 46. Just like Titus was wearing in his booth. This is the big dick, Titus Hardy. The one with the bald cap on his head. Is it? They didn't even bother to change boots. Putting them on the scene is easy. 2. Standard work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 44. Either the blonde muscular guy, Glenn, or the young guy with a plectrum around his neck. 3. Hobnailed work boot. Steel reinforced toes. Number 43. The inked banger, perhaps. 4. Standard work boot, number 45 or 46. Theo, the old smoker. You think you even... 5. Another standard work boot, reinforced toes, number 44. Same as before. Either the musician. 6. Light as air. Same make of boot, but number 41. Small like a rat, shanky. Better late than never, detective. The whole world is dark and the tracks burn in it with strange 7. The glowing outline of a standard work boot, number 46. The imprints are twice as deep as the others. The weight exceeds 200 kilograms. Fat Angus. Carrying something? 8. Another standard work boot, number 44. There's an aberration in the pattern of the sole. The right sole is smoother, more worn. Curious. A missing 8th Hardy Boy.
7 sets of tracks, right? The Hardy Boys were here. That's all? Interesting. Then one of them seems to be missing. Anything else out of the ordinary? I'm guessing that's the skinny Hardy Boy. The one with his front teeth missing. Yes, well, he did look a bit like a rat, you're right. Do you think those prints belong to him? I could still be wrong, but I'm probably not. 200. This could be the combined weight of 2 people, one carrying the other who's tied up. Let's say a heavily built worker carrying a similarly built armored man. Maybe it was a fat Hardy Boy, the one sitting in the middle.
He might be right. 200 kilograms of living weight is unlikely.
Possibly, yes. Interesting. Let's name it the Old Soul. I wouldn't be surprised if this was the missing Hardy Boy. Wonder who he is. Someone operating a workbench with a pedal? Like a joiner at the harbor? Or maybe a drummer? No, it's not. Forget I said it. We are not looking for a drummer. Perhaps it could be a driver. A driver would wear out the right shoe before the left. The accelerator is on the right.
He doesn't seem to hear you, looking south toward the traffic jam instead.
We should keep our eyes open around the traffic jam. See whether anyone strikes out as a potential suspect. Seems prudent, no? A week, maybe? 7 days would fit the time frame provided to us by the caller, who reported the hanging.
It is not impossible.
I pulled last week's forecast for coastal Revashol. 7 days below freezing. The day before, the day of his hanging, was the last warm day.
Correct again. Sub-zero temperatures would preserve the tracks in a good state. The commotion here could have taken place a week.
What do I think? A mob of people brought something heavy to the tree. One of them was carrying the victim. Then, after hoisting him up, they stood in a semicircle facing his direction. At first glance, this appears to be...
Indeed. They all stood in a row here and looked at the tree.
So far, so good. Only one thing missing.
Of course, there were 8 tracks, but there are only 7 Hardy Boys.
Which one is missing, do you think? I'm going to say it was our Old Soul. Yes, I doubt the Hardys are going to tell us who this person is. For now, it's best if we just keep our eyes open. I'm sure our investigation will eventually lead us to the Old Soul. Yes?
Both cables are unplugged from the... This orange machine is turning the crank. You slip your... No. If you want to...
Equip the pry bar by going to the tools.
The bear's eyes are dead and empty.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Somewhere in the past, it's summer. 5-year-old Fifette lets go of her mother's hand, change jingling in her pockets as she hops towards the ice cream stand, right across.
I know. What an unfortunate mark. At least it's not running them a loss anymore, now that you've unplugged the cable.
The fridge sits empty before you. A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
This old fireplace, radio frequent, unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system. You think so? The web is looks like a surveillance. They must have had massive air width. Someone very important, whoever decides to call in to a list of names, and there's no...
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just... Your flashlight, some of the writing has... Tiles on the cube, like a smooth draw. The speaker comes to...
Good morning. Please repeat. It's good. Please repeat the password. Still proceed.
Don't worry.
Fortress X, thank you.
Tiles on the filament slides out.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? Yes, that is the question.
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like...
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on...
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry. But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology. Through call-in stations, none of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories. Function.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into sub-frequencies.
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in. No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... It's too late for that, I'm afraid. Okay, let's keep moving.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die? Of course. Tell me what you have in mind. No need to rush.
the barbell.
Hello again, esteemed officer. Okay, but please, only...
The woman looks aloof. A small mountain of colorful...
Hi, Ace Detective.
The display rack. This is entirely... Shelves filled to... Shelves full of biographies of famous people, whoever they are. Several maps. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of insulin.
I'm sorry, officer. They're quite valuable. Though they might... That old thing, from when some designed... They didn't get that far.
This bookstore is...
Hello again, officers. Ooh, not only have you found my address, you've...
She does have eyes that seem to be smeared with coal.
It doesn't have to do anything at all. Nothing does. Like me. Right now, I'm doing nothing at all. Does anyone in a city like this? Yes. I keep hoping a shaft will collapse on me. But somehow, it... Shoot, Piggy. It's what... You're back. Good. What can I help you with? What we do?
She nods.
That's the man who was killed. Better not tie the forestay. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. More lessons in basic reality? Glad to have been of assistance.
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
Of course, Detective.
Give me a moment.
In your hands, you hold 16 Days of Coldest April by Yekaterina Dahl. The cover image shows a row of concrete. Indeed, the book is unusually heavy in your hands. You flip through the book. The pages are thinner than you realized, and the type quite small and tightly set. It's nearly 600 pages long. The back cover is dominated by a black and white photo. She can't be much older than her mid-30s in this photograph. And yet, from this cover, the eyes of a sad old woman stare back at you. In cold, detached prose, the author describes a scene from one of the Yugoslavia riots in the 20s. Youths overturn motor carriages and set trash cans ablaze as ethnic tensions run wild. A pair of young lovers meet each other on the street. Somehow, in the middle of all the chaos, they manage to lock arms and look into it. Would physically hurt you to keep reading. Are you sure? Fuck it. Do it. It can't be worse than what you've already felt. They go through a brief and somewhat awkward love affair. And in the end, they betray each other and succumb to the absurdity of Gradian life. The man becomes a lens grinder, completely abandoning his former existence. He toils through the daily drudgery at the Lenka polyfabricate. Happiness and fulfillment have eluded him his whole life. And in the end, he has nothing to do but dedicate himself to the craft. She spends the next several decades standing at a conveyor in a Sosnovo fish processing plant. The smell of fish guts slowly seeps into her hair and skin, as every single one of the memory of their short time spent together tortures the former lovers ceaselessly until the end of their days. Years pass in solitude, their bodies growing ever more decrepit. As life leaves their remains between the soil sheets, their final thoughts are good stuff. I fucking loved this.
Hello again.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man.
The white star, the photos on the wall. I think we have broken into the apartment of a young communard. How fitting. Yes?
A row of mugs.
Trying to sneak up on me.
Just an ordinary. The woman before. The dented yellow mailbox greets you with its graffito, bullet holes, and the box seems
Still here. Stuck in this damn jam, my man.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece. Secured even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his... Well, he blew through the whole national treasury, starting the decline of one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola. Stories have it that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber, where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of... He called it the Sol Aurum. It was obscene. There were whispers he slept on a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction. You see, old Philippe wasn't just good at squandering the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry, he was also a prodigious snorter of nose... Not just any nose candy though. We're talking Royal Philippian Blow, allegedly twice as potent as the stuff you find nowadays, and purple. Philippian cocaine was cocaine. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms. That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later, right before they emptied out the royal mausoleum and dumped His Majesty's mortal remains beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay. Thrown there, a group of marble pleurons still surround the king's vandalized tomb. A deathly cold wind sweeps up candy wrappers and old newspapers. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing of the coalition's airships during the turn-of-the-century revolution, when Martinez was... Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revashole in the poorest part. The statue is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit. People in Martinez tend to disagree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders with more nuanced social awareness than the young ironists. Philip III, the squanderer, however, with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions.
She's just... Come on, he thinks.
You hear that, Lowman? I don't think your partner likes you spending too much time with me.
Nothing. I just don't think she's connected to anything.
A pale dream is what it is. Did you just call me a lady?
The woman's malevolent.
I'm a lady like you are, Gabriel Buenguerro. Only in dreams. I'm only terrifying to small children. Oh, Sim.
A lorry stuck in the traffic.
Right to work! Honest man, we came here. You think they follow because I'm big? We were promised work.
The physically impressive.
When a bunt beats me.
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. Fine. It was probably nothing.
When a butt beats me.
There's something up. His shirt is far too small. He ignores your question.
What's it to you? Big mess, caused by union greed. But I only fight for the rights of people.
The man has turned his attention elsewhere.
What's it to you? Am I a suspect?
The man has...
Looking for something odd? It's not.
Change, not sheep. Ostriches.
Whatever. Go back to your college class, Pino. I'm not the only one. Look, I've read books. The science of racial theory as all. People who've studied these things say that you and me are superior by design. So, naturally...
If this guy's all the Occidentals have, well, let's just say he's not exactly ripped.
Open your eyes. Haven't you noticed something different lately? An unfortunate downturn, maybe? Huh? When members of the superior race cease to... The problem? The damn kips are showing a real good game lately. Same with the mosquitoes. It's true. Also, you need to realize the dangers of mixing races. Who knows what might happen if people don't stay in their birthplace? Don't push you.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time has come. The vows are blood and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revashola's problems? Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. Yes, they're women. Women. Men of war. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo, that's what fascism boils down to. The rest is all stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Okay, yes, let's call it that. Good thinking. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere. It is one of betrayal and disappointment. Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. A lorry stuck The windows are fumes of heavy fuel oil.
Likely.
He was acting the back
Racist nation.
the dry a large met.
Likely.
He was acting.
Hola, wandering man. How can I? Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole. Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but
Your race descent has only worsened since the last.
I think this racist is better than the last. But the next racist will be the really good one. There always is.
Race is reality.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist? Just a second, officer. Sylvie Malaika on the line for you. Yes, hello? Oh, great. What else do you need, detective? Well, you tried to jam it down the toilet, sir, clogging it completely. After I had unclogged the toilet and retrieved the paperwork, I threw it out in the trash. I am sorry about that. Anything else, detective? Yes, I know who you are. You're a police officer. The law. You told me back in the whirling. You told everybody, and so does your badge. I don't... Oh.
Real policemen have uniforms too, by the way. Where's yours? He's in plain clothes, voluntarily. It's different from not knowing where you're. There are officers who wear the signature Perseus black uniforms to the highest ranks in the RCM and end up buried in them as well. Others do it more casually. Looks like you're one of them.
Uniform? I never saw you in any uniform. You had your things on. The disco things. Please, no. Not this again. Everyone saw your cool gun, detective. You were trying to impress some people with it. Everyone was eating and...
Sounds like it's going to be bad. Do you really want to know?
You were waving it around in everyone's face, begging them to describe it. You said it calms you, and then you started making suicide jokes.
People tried to back away from you, or even slip out of the door. But you screamed, "I am the goddamned law, and you have to listen to me. You are all suspects in a murder investigation." There is silence on the other end of the line.
Me neither. No, please, no more suicide threats. Thank God you don't have that stupid gun anymore. No idea. All I know is next you were waving around money instead, saying things like big bucks cannot lie and guns can't buy money, but money can always... It almost looked like you pawned it. But believe me, I did not ask.
You hear the call breaking.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
10-4, come in. 10-4, sir. Sorry, but I'm under orders to give a negative to request for personal information. 10-4. Orders as 10-4, sir. 10-4. Roger that. 10-10. Over and out.
This is Precinct 50.
As always, it's DJ Mesh and Felicio, and you're listening to Street Freaks FM.
A flock of seagulls takes off nearby. Startled right away, the lieutenant reaches into the cabin and turns off.
Someone must have been messing with the radio, or maybe picked up a random frequency. You wanted a prime line, right? Oh, is that what it was called?
Go for it. Turn the radio back on while it's still on the Speed Freaks FM.
Nothing to get into, really. But sure, let's focus on the important things.
This is Precinct 57. 57.
In the cabin, you see